Welcome to the Business Mechanic Show. This is your host, Vaughn Sigmund. Today, we're going to talk about why managers often crash and burn when they're having tough talks, difficult conversations, and I'm going to share with you what to do instead. So let's get something straight right out of the gate. If you avoid tough conversations, or worse, just bulldoze through them like a wrecking ball, you're not leading, you're guessing, you're damaging. Yeah, you're getting it off your chest, but you're getting accomplished what you want. And often you're guessing. What does that mean? I'm going to get into that in a second. But for sure, it's costing you trust, respect, and results. And isn't that results what you're there for? And if you use that bulldoze effect if you're normal, you ain't going to get what you need out of the conversation. Sure, you may share what's on your mind, get it off your chest, but that's the point. It's not likely you who has to make a change or correct something. It's the person or persons you're talking with. Yes, this approach can be used in group meetings. Hell, it can be used with a spouse or a child. It's just effective. It's an effective way to GSD, get stuff done. Now, here's the truth. Most managers, I'm letting you off the hook, most managers have just simply never been trained. They've watched somebody else. They're doing what instinctually they feel like they should do, or the approach that feels right, but often what feels right is wrong. So likely you're listening to this because you'd like to have better conversations, more effective conversations, and dig into the difficult conversations that maybe you're holding poorly or you're avoiding altogether. But most people sincerely have never been trained how to have tough talks. And you're flying blind. And when things get tense, the manager either disappears, tolerates, or they detonate. Neither's good. They approach things with a telling mindset, not a learning mindset. And that's critical to what we're going to be talking about. This is going to be a series of podcasts on this topic. And you need to be in a learning mindset, not a telling mindset. And I'm going to give you more details on that. Because to be effective, you have to make that shift in direction for you to get them to respond in the way you want or need. And so this episode is designed as your wake-up call. Today, I'm handing you the first page of the blueprint to handle any conversation, no matter how uncomfortable. Very often, difficult conversations don't get had because of that discomfort, and so they get avoided. But I want to give you the confidence. I want to help you have these conversations with clarity and you be in total control. Because here's what's in it for you. By the end of this episode, you'll walk away knowing why your natural instincts in conflict actually make things worse. I'm going to share with you the 2 behaviors that quietly destroy your culture and make people work less hard. And the mindset shift that flips tension into transformation. This isn't theory. This is real world, and I've taught it and used it for years. It gets premium results, and it builds the relationships you want with your team. It relieves frustration and stress and makes, frankly, your job easier. And it's something, this is the greatest part, it's something you can use today at work, or you can use it at home. You can use it in every relationship that matters to you. Now, this series of podcasts is going to be based on my book, The Roadmap to Difficult Conversation. And if you want the full playbook, grab it on Amazon. I inserted a link in the show notes for you to get it and download it. And for more on turning managers into high-impact leaders, visit my website, rdltraining.com. That's Romeo Delta Lima training.com. Let's get into it. Look, when the heat's on, most managers fall into two camps: the avoiders and the aggressors. The avoiders, they tiptoe, downplay, delay, avoid. They think silence equals peace. They have a fear of consequences. Fear is an acronym to false expectations appearing real. They fear that having this conversation is going to create some kind of heated confrontation, so they avoid it. And I get it. But what they're actually doing is approving whatever bad behavior or bad performance is happening because you're not dealing with it. It actually creates confusion and frustration and resentment on their part towards you. So by avoiding, you're actually creating a very bad environment, a low performance, a low results environment. You don't mean to do that. You're not doing that on purpose. You don't know any better. Today, we're going to teach you how. Or there's the aggressors. These are the high D's on the disc profile that go charging in, gun in hand, guns blazing, and they think control is strength. By God, I'm going to let them have it. I'm going to tune them up. I'm going to tell them exactly what they need to do, and then by God, they're going to do it. It doesn't work. Maybe it makes you feel a little better at the moment, but it doesn't get you the results long-term sustained that you're looking for. It gets you compliance, short-term obedience, which is fueled by fear. And the worst thing you can do from a management standpoint is manage through fear. You want to lead through respect. And here's the problem. Both of these approaches, whether you avoid or you go in as an aggressor, are reactive. Both are driven by emotion, ego, self-esteem, and it's your fight or flight instinct. And both will cost you more than you know, especially long-term. Let's break down why. When you walk into a conversation already convinced you're right, when you've invented someone's intention, that's the intention invention I talk about in my book. When you've already invented someone's intention before hearing a word out of their mouth, hearing their side of things, getting their perspective, you've already lost. You lost right from the get-go. That mental trap is called confirmation bias. Your brain filters everything they say through your own assumptions. You already know what happened. You know why it happened. And you're going to tell them how to correct it. Doesn't work. So you're not even having a conversation with them. You're lecturing. That's really poor leadership. You're having this conversation with a version of them you created in your head. You don't have the facts. You've got to go into these conversations with a much more open mind. You've got to go in with curiosity. I've got to understand why they did this. What is their story before I tell my story? That's where you get tripped up. You want them to tell you it is amazing how much better these conversations are when you go in and you start asking open-ended questions. Tell me about this. How did that happen? How often does that happen? What do you think you can do to fix it? Et cetera, et cetera. And by the way, in the book, it's got a number of these questions for you to be able to utilize in these conversations. But if you go in with this confirmation bias, you're right, they're wrong, I'm going to fix that, and you don't honor their mindset or their reasoning behind that, very often there's a reason that you don't know about. Very often it refers back to the 16 reasons why employees don't do what you ask them to do, want them to do, which is all on you. But you're going in guns blazing, blaming them, or assuming They know all the reasons to do this job, how to do this job, why to do this job. You don't know if somebody else told them something different. You haven't asked the questions. And that's how leaders lose trust. That's how teams shut down. That's how you get a group of people that do what only you tell them to do. That's how toxic cultures are born, one bad conversation at a time. So how do I fix that? Good question. Here's the move. You need to lead conversations with two things. One, a clear outcome. Goal one is a clear outcome. Know exactly what you want the result of the conversation to be. So it takes a little bit of thought and planning before you have them. And two, and most importantly, a curious mind. Drop the judgment and ask questions. Turn to curiosity. Ask real questions and listen. Listen like the answer matters. Don't interrupt. Don't defend. Don't correct them. Listen, ask more questions until you've got a very clear understanding of what really happened, what the intention really was. It's not about controlling the dialogue or efficiency. It's about creating the environment where the right outcome naturally comes to the surface. People don't disengage because you said the wrong thing. They disengage because they felt attacked or dismissed or blindsided. Why didn't you say this before? I've been doing this for months. Those are the poor outcomes that you get when you've avoided these conversations. You want to win? Make these conversations feel safe to the people that you're having the conversation with. Make them feel safe enough to stay in the game and provide you the information so that you can open your aperture of your bias and understand their side of things before you share your side of things. So here's your new playbook. Don't assume, you need to ask. Don't accuse, explore. Don't react, respond. You're not going into battle. You're stepping into clarity. And that shift alone, when you master it, and you can, anybody can do this, that shift alone puts you in the top 1% of all leaders. And you will be thrilled with the change and the improved results you get out of this. Now, here's a key takeaway. What kills progress isn't disagreement, it's disconnection. So the next time you face a tough talk, remember, it's not about delivering a perfect speech or message. It's about showing up calm, curious, keep your emotions in check. You're going to be outcome driven and you're going to be asking questions. You need to understand their perspective to create the full pool of collected knowledge in order for them to not only be heard, their opinions, their thoughts, be listened to, which is a core human need. And then you will become somebody that creates a space for real dialogue. People will want to come to you, share things with you, involve you more, and you'll get the results that you've only dreamed of with way less work. So how about this? You want to put this to work today? Think of a conversation you've been avoiding. You know the one. Now, or one that you need to have that you're a little worked up about. One that somebody's pissed you off and you're ready to go have battle with them. Now, this is where you got to shift your mindset. Follow the instructions I shared with you today. Grab a notepad. Write the outcome you want. That's the goal in mind. This is what we want it to look like in the future after this conversation. Then jot down 3 questions you can use to explore it without judgment, without assumptions. True, open-ended, curious questions. Start with curiosity. And in the end, you're going to have clarity. And no day is like today to get moving. So start with curiosity and with clarity. Write down 3 questions that will open your aperture of your bias, and you have one. Be concerned about your intention and invention. You don't know the whole truth. There's the old saying, there's 3 versions of the truth. And you need to get their side of things before you share your side. Let them go first. Don't interrupt. Don't defend. Don't correct. Just ask questions. Sounds easy, and it is. And it's effective. And don't forget, you want to really start getting good at this, go grab the full book, The Roadmap to Difficult Conversations, on Amazon right now. The link's in the show notes. It's yours. And if you're serious about leveling up your leadership, check out rdltraining.com for coaching courses, all the services we offer, everything you need to lead like a pro. rdltraining.com. That's Romeo Delta Lima training.com. I'm Vaughn Sigmund, co-founder of Results Driven Leadership, and we'll talk to you next week about the second part of this. Now, get out there and get after it.